Lecture 8. Psychology. In this lecture, we will explore how children reason about the sensations of a newborn baby and what role language plays in psychological development. We will examine whether the children can understand that knowledge of moral rules is not necessarily accompanied by compliance with those rules. The French philosopher Etienne Bannot de Condillac, who lived in the 18th century, invented a method of speaking with philosophically unsophisticated people about human psychology. He asked a person to imagine that a statue in the garden suddenly came to life, and then asked the person to tell what kind of inner world the statue have. What would the statue see? What would it hear? Let us try to speak with children about this and see whether the children can understand the role of experience and language in child development. Let us take a middle-sized plastic doll which looks like a baby and put some plasticine on the doll's eyes, ears, nose and hands. We also need the following objects: a small ball made of red clay, a small cube made of blue clay, a door key, a coin, a fewer hat, and a small bell. Instruction to the child. Look at this doll. Let's imagine that it is a child who's just been born, okay? The child is alive, but it is not yet able to see anything, to smell, to hear, to move, and to touch anything with its hands. Look, its eyes and ears and hands are covered with plasticine. Neither can it speak or know anything at all, okay? After a few questions to check that the child understood what has been said about the doll, the plasticine was removed from the doll's nose, and the following questions were asked. Question 1. Now that I have removed the plasticine from the infant's nose, it can feel odors, okay? Tell me, if I bring a piece of tissue dipped in perfume under the infant's nose, will it be able to smell the perfume? Question 2. And will it know that it is the odor of perfume and not the odor of, say, a rotten potato? Question 3. And will it be able to know that it is the infant itself and not some other person who smells the smell? Question 4. Will it realize that it is a small child? Question 5. Will it realize that other people exist in the world? Question 6. And this odor of perfume, will it be pleasant or unpleasant for the infant? Question 7. And if I place under the infant's nose an object with an unpleasant smell, will it smell a good odor or a bad odor? Questions 8 to 13. The sense of hearing. The plasticine is removed from the doll's ears. Question 8. Look, its ears are now open too, and it can hear sounds, okay? If I ring a bell near its ear, will it hear the sound? Question 9. Will it realize that it is the sound of a bell and not, for instance, the sound that a fly makes? Question 10. And will it realize that it is the infant itself and not some other person who hears the sound? Question 11. And if I say, "Hello there," would it hear me? Question 12. Will it understand what I have said? Question 13. Will it realize that other people exist in the world? Questions 14 to 20. The sense of touch. The plasticine is removed from the doll's hands. Question 14. Look, now it can move its hands and touch everything, okay? If I give this key to it to keep, will it be able to feel the key? Question 15. Will it understand that this is a key? Question 16. And if I give it my fur hat to touch, what will it feel? Question 17. Will it understand that this is a hat and not another object? Question 18. And if it puts its hand in hot water, what will it feel? Question 19. Will it understand that this is water and not sand, for instance? Question 20. Will it understand that other people exist in the world? Questions 21 to 30. The sense of vision. The plasticine is then removed from the doll's eyes. Question 21. And now its eyes are open and it can see things. If I show it this red ball, what will it see? Question 22. Will it be able to understand that this is a ball and that it is red in color? Question 23. And if I show it this blue cube, will it see it? Question 24. Will it understand that this is a cube and that it is blue? Question 25. If I put the ball and the cube next to each other, will the infant realize that they are different objects and look different? Question 26. And if I move this ball far away from the infant, would it be able to see it? Question 27. Will it realize that the cube is closer to it than the ball? Question 28. And if the infant looks at a human person, what will it see? Question 29. Will it realize that this is a human being and not a cat, for instance? Question 30. Will it realize that it is a human being itself? Results. All the children acknowledged the newborn infant's capacity to experience olfactory, auditory, tactile, temperature, and visual sensations, and tell between various kinds of the sensations. For instance, between the pleasant and unpleasant odors, between the bell's ring and fly's noise, between hot and soft, cold and warm, red and blue. Most preschoolers and some school children thought that although the newborn could not speak and had no personal experience, it could nevertheless know what kind of objects produced these particular sensations. The majority of the children grounded their opinions in such a way as to suggest that sensations alone contained information about the objects from which they are initiated, and the newborn infant was capable of realizing this. For example, one child says, he will touch the water, and the water is not hard and heavy, and the infant will realize instantly that this is water. The other child says, he will understand that this is a cube. It has sides, and the ball, it is round-shaped. And now let us try and find out whether the children understand that the acquisition of language by a child drastically changes the child's psychological functions. The child who can speak can consciously recognize objects by their names and functions, and can realize that there are other people around. The child is given the following instruction. Imagine that this child is taught how to speak and how the objects are named, okay? We ask the child to repeat this instruction and then proceed by asking the following questions. Section 2. The role of language in the understanding of names and functions of objects. Question 31. If I place the piece of tissue dipped in perfume under the infant's nose now, what will it smell? Question 32. Will it know that this is the smell of perfume? Question 33. Will it know what perfumes are used for? Question 34. And if I ring the bell near the infant, what will it hear? Question 35. Will it understand that this is the sound of a bell? Question 36. Will it know what bells are used for? Question 37. If I give the infant this coin to keep, will it know that this is a coin? Question 38. Will it know what money is used for? Question 39. And if the infant looks at a human being, what will it see? Question 40. Will it understand that it is a human being and not, for instance, a dog? Question 41. Will it understand that it itself looks like a human being? Question 42. And if I say, "Hi, say hello to me," will it understand what I have said? Will it answer me? Question 43. And if I teach the infant what a spoon and a cup are called, would it be able to eat with a spoon and to drink from a cup? It is clear from this graph that the majority of preschoolers believe that a newborn baby would know the names of the objects, but the majority of school children deny that. For school children, The doll would acquire the knowledge about the object's names only after she learned how to speak. The only exception is the sense of vision. Even the majority of school children believe that if a newborn baby sees an object, he or she automatically knows the object's name. All of the children think the newborn baby can correctly assess the distance to the seen objects. Question 27. The majority of preschoolers believe that if one knows the name of an object, one also knows how this object is used. Questions 33, 34, and 38. And even has the skill of using this object. Question 43. Only at school age the children start to understand that knowledge of the object's name is not necessarily accompanied with the practical skill of using this object. This graph shows that the majority of children aged between 5 and 7 years believe that the newborn baby would be aware of the presence of other people if the baby is able to see the people. Question 29. In contrast, older school children believe that only a speaking child can be conscious of the presence of other people. Interestingly, children aged between 5 and 7 years believe that the newborn baby is able to understand language even before he or she is taught to speak. But children older than 7 years don't think so. Understanding moral behavior. And now we are going to find out whether our children understand that the child who can speak does not necessarily know moral rules of behavior, to say nothing of observing those rules in practice. We give the child the following instruction. Let us imagine that now our child can speak, okay? Please answer the following questions. Section 3. Moral knowledge and moral behavior. Question 44. Let us imagine that our infant gets hungry and sees a piece of chocolate on the table. What will it do? Question 45. And if at this very moment another child comes to our infant and asks politely for a piece of chocolate, would our infant give the child a bit or not? Question 46. And if our infant is hungry and sees another child who has a piece of chocolate in its hand, will our infant take the chocolate away from the other child or not? Question 47. Let us imagine that our infant was alone in the room and breaks an expensive porcelain vase. If the infant knows that it is likely to be punished, will it confess to the owners of the vase or not? Question 48. Does the infant know that it is good to share one's sweets with other children, that it is good to be honest and not tell lies, or does it not know this? Question 49. And if we tell the infant what is right and what is wrong, will it share sweets with another child? Will it take the chocolate away from another child? Will it tell the truth about who broke the vase? Question 50. For our infant to do good things, is it enough to tell it what is good and what is bad, or it is not enough? Question 51. Are there children in the world who know how they should behave, but they still don't behave? Question 52. But if they know how they should behave, why don't they behave? As we can see, most children aged between 5 and 7 years believe that once a child is taught language, he or she would be able to comply with moral norms, such as the norm to be honest and not to tell lie. It is only at the age of older than 7 years that the children start to understand that a child needs to be specially trained in order to be able to observe moral rules. Finally, up to the age of 7 years, children are certain that the child's knowledge of moral rules is sufficient for the child to be able to observe those rules. In contrast, older children understand that people can violate moral rules even though they know that they must observe those rules. Conclusions. Children aged 4 to 9 years viewed the newborn baby as a considerably more advanced in psychological abilities than the baby really is. These children believe that not only the newborn is able to see, hear, and feel odors, but it can also realize what objects cause these sensations, and even know what these objects are used for in their everyday life. Moreover, these children think that once a child was told the rules of moral behavior, the child would be able to comply with those rules and become a kind and honest person. In contrast, the older children understand that the newborn can have sensations, but this alone does not make the baby capable of understanding names and functions of objects. In order to understand names and functions, the child needs the ability to speak. These children also realize that language changes the child's psychological functions by allowing the toddler to know about the object's names and about the presence of other people around. The talking child can also realize that he or she too is a human being. The older children realize that the ability to speak does not necessarily bring about the knowledge of moral norms. What's more, the knowledge of moral rules alone cannot guarantee that the child will comply with those norms.